Okay, hello, we're back. So, as usual, things beyond my control happen at work. I got out early, I was gonna do stuff, but I got called right back into work. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay, enough of that. Let's get started. So, I have been continuing my research on the mythological parallels that I'm gonna use for this video. I think we're in a good spot. In a couple of days, I'll give it till Wednesday. I'll give myself like tomorrow is Wednesday, so I'll give myself one more day of research, then we should be good to go. But going off my notes, I think we're in a good spot now. I already had notes done, but like I mentioned before, I wanted to make sure everything was 100% accurate before I jotted things down, especially since Amaterasu and the whole Shinto aspect of Amaterasu I'm not familiar with. I'm only really familiar with Amaterasu used in media, so I didn't want to fuck around and find out. So just give me like another day and this should be good to go. But in the meantime, we could actually just finish this up and I'll just add on whatever I need to add on later. All right, that's enough of me yapping. Let's get started. So if I remember correctly, I believe we started with the case studies. So let's see what I have. This should be Slender. Excuse me. In survival horror, the instinct is to often look away, to hide, to flee in blindness. But Slender the Arrival flips that instinct on its head. Here, the look is not safety, but a death sentence. To meet the gaze of Slenderman is to invite your impending doom. Okay. I can give myself like at least 30 minutes before work time today. Hmm. You know, let's continue with the 8 pages. I flipped the script. I think the 8 pages is a better one to use. I've been literally like juggling between the two. I wanted to use the Arrival just because it was the newer one, but I feel like just having the 8 pages is fine. Okay, so give me like a couple of minutes here. I just need to rethink this. In survival horror, the instinct is to often look away, to hide, to flee in blindness. But Slender, the 8 pages, flips this instinct on its head. Here, the look is not safety, but a death sentence. To meet the gaze of Slenderman is to invite your impending doom. Hmm. Okay. I can't wait to replay this. Me and that tall bastard have a very interesting relationship. He's an asshole. He's definitely a asshole. considered cryptid, isn't he? Yeah, he is. Huh. Sorry, I'm just thinking off topic. Just don't mind me. Give me one sec. Sorry about that. There is a parallel here. Because we are using Medusa as the mythological parallel, but she can be used as a parallel to Slender Man in a sense. Because going off of how Slenderman works, hmm, there is a parallel. Should I mention it? It's so it's there, but it's not there at the same time. Hmm. Well, like I said, always keep an iPad chock filled with notes, just in case. Huh, neat. It's so loose. It's actually so super loose. It's mostly because Medusa, her gaze, it paralyzes you, but Slenderman's gaze kind of does the same thing, but not really. So it's very loose. But I'm not gonna put it. It's just too. There's a parallel, but it's not concrete enough. The things I go through with these. I'm gonna literally be pissed off at that tonight. I'm like, damn, I really probably should have wrote that. but it's just not concrete enough. Don't drink unless you're an adult. I'm probably definitely gonna need this. I've only gotten two sentences done in 10 minutes. Holy crap. It's all good. I don't wanna screw this up, so I'd rather take my sweet time with this. This is a cycle. It is a cycle. All right, song switch. Ooh, hey. Here comes those great liquors scaring the living daylights out of me coming from the ceiling because that loud ass bang that comes with them. All you do is be casually just walking around, minding your own business, then bam! Great liquors are funny. See, it's so super quiet right now. If that intercom above my head goes off again, I'm gonna get the biggest jump scare imaginable because I'm so like focused on this. Every shadow may conceal him. No. I had to rewrite that like 66 different times. All right, let's read what we have. Curse these old eyes of mine. In survival horror, the instinct is to often look away, to hide, to flee in blindness. But Slender the Ape flips this instinct on its head. Here to look is not safety, but a death sentence. To meet the gaze of Slenderman is to invite your impending doom. At first glance, the game seems simple enough. Collect 8 pages, which are scattered within a always proofread within a dark forest. But Slenderman just lingers beyond your vision. In Slender, your survival hinges on impossible tension. Look too long, and he draws closer. Look away, and you risk losing track of him. The game traps you in a cycle of hesitation and paranoia. While trying to complete your objectives, you never know when he may make an appearance. The game world itself becomes your enemy. Every shadow might conceal him. Any sound in the background could be him stalking you. Hmm. I'm just thinking. Just give me a moment. Oh, hold on. Work. Oh, give me a second. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Like I say time again, even when I'm off duty, I'm on duty. Sorry about that. So I think we're good on this. So damn it, work. Okay. Sorry about this. Just give me a moment. Start. There we go. Sorry about that. So it transforms the gaze into something against you. It turns your own eyes against you. Is where I'm getting at. Sorry for work, literally like distracting me, but that happens. Actually, let's wear like this. No, to a weapon. So it turns the player's own gaze against. Is where I'm getting at. we're good. Holy shit. My God, I love vagueness in the military. I'm like, oh shit, what is going on now? Please explain. Survival horror. The instinct is to often look away, to hide, to flee in blindness. But Slender, the 8 pages, flips this instinct on its head. Here to look is not safety, but a death sentence. To meet the gaze of Slenderman is to invite your impending doom. At first glance, the game seems simple enough. Collect 8 pages which are scattered within a dark forest. But Slenderman just lingers beyond your vision. I'm being a little bit descriptive here. Okay, there we go. In survival horror, the instinct is to often look away, to hide, to flee in blindness. But Slender, the 8 pages, flips this instinct on its head. Here to look is not safety, but a death sentence. To meet the gaze of Slenderman is to invite your impending doom. It's been 15 minutes. Holy shit. Sorry about that. Song switch. Uh, let's go back to Marshall Yard. To meet the gaze of to meet the gaze of Slenderman is to invite your impending doom. At first glance, the game seems simple enough. Collect 8 pages, which are scattered within a dark forest. But Slenderman just lingers beyond your vision. It stalks you and watches your every movement. Then, when you're least expecting it, he strikes. In Slender, your survival hinges on impossible tension. Look too long, he draws closer. Look away, and you risk losing track of him. The game traps you in a cycle of hesitation and paranoia. While trying to complete your objectives, you never know when he may make an appearance. The game world itself becomes your enemy. Every shadow might conceal him. Any sound in the background could be him stalking you. Slender transforms the gaze from a passive sense to a weapon, turning the player's own eyes against them. Hmm. There's a kind of fear that doesn't scream, it lingers, it waits. You stand in an empty room, the walls don't move, the stillness feels crowded. You don't hear footsteps, but your heart begins to race because you know you're not alone. Whenever you feel like someone's watching you, it's because someone probably is. Charles Bukowski. Bukowski wasn't warning us about monsters. He was naming a truth older than language. The fear of being watched isn't irrational. It's instinct. It's instinct. That beneath paranoia is a memory buried deep within the nervous system that tells us that the gaze is never neutral. It judges. It invades. Horror games don't need claws or teeth to terrify us. They just need eyes, unblinking and unrelenting. Because when we are being watched, we are no longer safe. We are no longer ourselves. We become performance. We become prey. In this video, we are tracing that ancient fear through the myths of Medusa, Amaterasu, and Rob. And again, be patient on this one. Like, I'm making sure I don't screw this one up. By Thursday, I will get to that section. Through neuroscience and surveillance culture, accumulating into 3 case studies in Slender, The 8 Pages, Silent Hill 3, Resident Evil Village. Horror doesn't just make us fear what we see, it makes us dread what sees us and what it might already know. Because sometimes the most terrifying presence is the one that never moves, never speaks, only watches. I like it. I like it. It's just I needed to make sure I mentioned the case studies because I don't want to keep on sounding redundant on these because I feel like I keep on repeating myself. This is why, like, for the most part, I've been kind of I haven't been half-assing it. I've just been condensing like the way I write because a lot of my videos I feel like I've just been regurgitating the same concepts over and over and over again, and because they do apply, but it's like people who watch this, I'm pretty sure it's like damn, you're repeating the same concepts that you've done in other videos, and like hell, like the brain always has something to do with it. Like we've mentioned the Yamgala plenty of times. The brain's fear center. Okay. Before surveillance cameras, before monitors and blinking red lights, there were oops. Sorry that. Before surveillance cameras, before monitors and blinking red lights, there were eyes in the dark. They were eyes in the dark, watching beyond the light, and we feared them. The human relationship with gaze is primal. Long before language, eye contact signaled dominance, submission, and threat. And as I mentioned before, it's like they tell you, if you want to scare away a ferocious animal, just stare directly into their eyes, which results may vary. Please don't do that. If a bear stares you down, it's like, GG's, good luck. Stare wasn't just observation, it was a challenge, a warning, a countdown. Ancient cultures turned that fear into symbol and story. The Eye of Providence, which is the conspiracy theory, eye. A triangle of divinity and judgment, watching from above. Sacred in design, oppressive in implication, the all-seeing eye that sees what you hide, not what you show. The Eye of Horus, a mark of protection, but also surveillance. A god's gaze that follows into the depth of your soul. I know it's cheesy, but I wanted to at least. I was being cheeky that day. The evil eye, my favorite one, a cursed path through the glance, faced through time in different cultures, feared because it demanded nothing but to destroy you. Just being watched isn't enough. Horror inherits this mythology, but strips away its divinity. The eye becomes corrupted. The gaze of ancient watchers doesn't offer guidance; it exposes. In horror games, this is where it begins, not with the scream, but with the feeling that something ancient, unseen, and possibly patient is watching you, and you will never look away. The fear of being watched isn't just superstition, a story of superstition. It is written into the very wiring of the brain. Deep within your skull is Yamgala. This is the fear center within your brain. It reacts instantly to eyes, not just real eyes, but shapes that look like eyes. Faces, portraits, statues, even mannequins can set off that ancient alarm. This response is automatic, involuntary, and designed to prepare the body for flight or fight, even before the conscious thought arises. Long before civilization, before language, before society and laws, our ancestors relied on their senses to survive. In the gaze, eyes meeting eyes was one of the most primal signals of danger. But it doesn't stop there. Our brains can sometimes misinterpret this warning. For example, it can react to eyes that aren't real, such as painted eyes in portraits, the glassy eyes of mannequins, or the frozen gaze of statues. This can cause intense responses in a person ranging from distress to panic. Cortisol, the hormone tied to stress and anxiety, rises when people are exposed to paintings with centered focused eyes. The brain interprets these images as silent watchers. In a sense, people have reported a sensation of dread and discomfort when looking at mannequins and dolls, for the sole reason that their artificial faces can trigger unease. Horror games expertly expose this neurological wiring with chilling finesse. Simple portraits whose eyes follow you, who will appear to follow you, excuse me. The subtle animation or design tricks mimics the gaze's perspective. No matter where you look, those eyes seem to fixate on you, unnerving the player with a sense of inescapable scrutiny. The invisible watcher, the anticipation of observation, is the beginning of true horror. It plays on our nervous system's oldest fears, the dread of being seen before you're ready and before you can defend yourself. It is in this space between knowing and guessing that horror games create the most profound terror. The fear of being watched evolved with us, but it found a new, darker expression in the age of surveillance. Sorry about that. Long before our world was filled with. Oh boy, there we go. Starting to happen again. This happens from time to time, so my voice is starting to go. Long before our world was filled with cameras, computers, and algorithms, George Orwell crystallized this terror in a single phrase: Big Brother is watching you. In 1984, Big Brother was an omnipresent, faceless force of control, an eye that never blinked, a gaze that never tired. Okay, I gotta stop because I'm starting to sound like Wolverine. But for the most part, it sounds good. Biggest thing with this one is the 1984 connection. That's the big one, so that's fine. This is where the psychological collapse. We talked about that. Okay. All right. For the most part, this is sounding really good. Unfortunately, I can't read it right now because my voice is literally starting to give out. It's like, it happens. It does. Like, I'm starting to sound like Wolverine. Like, it's really bad. Alright. I'll read this over in my head later, so we should be good to go. But, for the most part, we've gotten... Let me just see this one more time. Okay. Alright, so I think we're good in regards to case study 1. If anything, I could add more details. Like, this is still not finalized yet. We're still doing it with writing, so it's not finalized. So if I come up with anything else, I'll just jot it down. So tomorrow is Silent Hill 3 that we'll start with. So we'll start with Silent Hill 3, which is the second case study, and go from there. So good stuff. Be expecting mythological parallels by Thursday. I just need like at least one more day of extensive research. I'm gonna be doing a lot of reading tomorrow. But for the most part, I think we're good. I just need to make sure everything's 100% before I write it down. I don't want to jot down information that's not 100% accurate, because that is terrible, especially when you're writing narratives like this. Anyways, good stuff. I'm gonna go rest my voice for a little bit, then I'll do some spray animation, then I'll wrap it up for tonight. Anyways, take care. I'll see you tomorrow.